Hi boys and girls, my name is Miss Jennifer and I'm a teaching artist in the PACE Art program. I'm here to do a fun art lesson with you today and I'm so glad that you could join me. Today we will be doing a social living based art lesson. We will be talking about a few things that you've been learning with your classroom teacher. For this lesson we will be learning about community leaders, also known as community helpers. Today, the community leader that we are going to be talking about is a nurse. I recently visited my nurse and I asked her some questions about her job. I will be sharing those answers with you today. So today, we will be learning about things that nurses do and drawing a picture of a nurse. The supplies that you will need today will be a white sheet of paper, a variety of crayons, and a black or brown marker. It doesn't matter which one that you use today. We will be using lines, shapes, and colors for our lesson. We will be learning how to create a border around our picture today. So, we will be talking about community leaders, and they're also known as community helpers. A community leader is a person who lives and works in our community. They are there to help us with goods and services that we need in order to be able to be a community that works together. So today, we're going to go over a couple community leaders, then we're going to move on to talking about a nurse, which is a community leader that we're going to learn more about today. So, would you say that a doctor is a community leader? Of course. And why do you think a doctor is a good community leader or helper? Right, because they help us feel better. They're there when we're sick or when we need to have our immunizations, or maybe when we break our leg. They are there to help us. Good job. Would you say that a fireman is a community leader? Of course. Firemen are there to help us put out fires, to help save our houses. So they are there to help us. Good job. Would you say that a pharmacist is a community leader? What is a pharmacist? Well, a pharmacist is a person who makes medicine for us, and they also fill our medicine. Yes, they are good community leaders because they help us get the medicine that we need to feel better. Good job. Now, would you say that an ambulance worker or a paramedic is a community leader? It's to get to the hospital when we need to get there quickly and also help us by giving us medicine and things like that that we need while we are traveling to the hospital. Good job. There are so many other community leaders that we have in our community, but today we're going to be focusing on a nurse. And so, what does a nurse do? Well, a nurse is trained to help people that are sick or injured. A lot of times nurses help doctors. They help in order to have their patients feel better. And nurses work in hospitals, in doctors' offices, in schools, and lots of other places. So today we are going to be meeting Miss Jennifer's nurse, and I'm going to be telling you a few things about her. I took some time on my last visit to interview her, which means that I asked her questions, and I'm going to be sharing those with you right now. So here you see a picture of Miss Jennifer's nurse, and her name is Courtney Roberts, and Courtney works at Lady of Lourdes Hospital. And I asked her a few questions, and one of the questions I asked her was, what does a nurse do in our community to help us stay safe? And her answer was, we work with doctors. We help by getting your weight, taking your temperature, taking your blood pressure, asking questions that the doctor might need in order to help give us medicine that we need, and they fill out our chart, which means that they basically write down the things that we say. They give us shots and immunizations, and they bandage up our wounds. If we end up going in with a cut or a scrape, they help us by bandaging up that wound. They also help if we have broken bones. They help people in so many different ways, and we'll be talking about a few other ways through our video today. So I asked her, how long have you been a nurse? She said 11 years. Wow, that's a long time. And then I asked her, what made you decide to become a nurse? And she said, well, I grew up with my grandfather and grandmother that both worked in the medical field. My grandfather was a doctor and my grandmother was a nurse. I remember putting on my grandmother's lab coat when I was a small child, and I would play with the things that were in her pockets, like Band-Aids, bandages, sometimes like shots, and different things like that. And she said she would use these different things on her dolls, and she would also pretend that she was a nurse to her friends. So very early on, she wanted to be a nurse. And she basically wanted to become a nurse so that she could do things that her grandparents did to help the community. Another question I asked her was, what are your plans for the future? Well, Miss Courtney is still working as a nurse, but she is also in school because she wants to become a registered nurse. Her future job that she wants is to travel from hospital to hospital. She wants to be able to be there when different hospitals need her or need extra nurses to care for their patients. And most of all, she said, I love being a nurse because I help people feel better. So we know that nurses do lots of different kinds of jobs. I'll go over them really quick with you. So nurses give us shots and vaccinations. They also give us medicine when we're sick, and they help to make sure that we stay healthy. They help doctors with surgery, so even nurses help doctors with surgery. And they do so much more. Nurses are trained to also help us know what to eat, so they help us with nutrition. Nurses have lots of different kinds of jobs. Now, if you look down here, I have a picture of some nurses. And as you can see, not only women are nurses, but also men are nurses. So nurses, believe it or not, do a lot on their job. They also work in hospitals to help patients also. And so here you will see a couple of things that Miss Courtney said that she uses on her job. She says sometimes she has to give shots, although she doesn't really like to. Does anybody know what this might be? It actually goes around the nurse's neck, and doctors use them too. They put it in their ears and they listen to something. What do they listen to? If you said our heart and our lungs, good job. Awesome. And of course, we know they wear a mask. They give us medicine when we need it. Here's a thermometer. What do you think they do with the thermometer? They help to check to make sure that we don't have fever. Hey, so here I have a picture of a young child, and there is a thermometer. What do you think the nurse is doing? She's checking the child's temperature. Good job. How many of you have seen this before? This right here. This is a blood pressure cuff, and they usually put it up on the top of your arm, and then it gives them numbers. Those numbers tell us, or tell them, what your blood pressure is. That is something that they need to know when you are not feeling good. Here is a nurse using her stethoscope to check this lady's heart and lungs. Now here I have a picture of a nurse, and she's talking to a patient, but she's writing things down. So when nurses are asking you questions and you see them writing, they're writing down like why you're not feeling good, what's hurting. So when the doctor comes in, the doctor will know exactly how to help you. Here is a picture of a nurse with a little girl in a hospital, and she's checking to see if the little girl is feeling better. And then one last picture. Here is a nurse pushing an older lady in a wheelchair, because a nurse's job is also to help patients get from one place to the other. So as you can see, a nurse's job has a lot of different things that they need to do. All right, so I am ready to go ahead and get started with our drawing. We're going to be drawing a picture of a nurse. So let's get our black or brown marker so that we can begin today. We're going to be starting off today with the outside edge of our picture. And on the outside edge of our picture today, we are going to be making a border. Let's say that together, a border. A border is kind of like a frame around a picture. So here, if I have a paper and I draw another rectangle on the inside, I just made a border. This part all the way around my picture is a border. So let's get our markers. And we're going to do something similar to this, but we're going to make it a little bit easier. So on the very top of your paper, we're probably going to go about this far. And you're going to draw a line from one side to the other. So from the left to the right. Now if we're drawing a line that goes across our paper, is that a vertical or a horizontal line? Going across, that is a horizontal line. Very good. Now we're going to do the same thing to the bottom. About this far from the bottom, we're going to start on the left and we're going to go all the way to the right with another horizontal line. So now we have one on the top and one on the bottom. All right, now we're going to do the same thing, but this time we're going to go from the top of our paper to the bottom of our paper. We're going to start on the left side, and about this far, we're going to go from top all the way down to the bottom of our paper. Now, was that a horizontal or a vertical line? If you said a vertical line, you are correct, because we're going from top to bottom. Notice how we are making our border. Now I want to do the same thing to the right side, about the same amount of space. So I'm going to start at the top and I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom. Good job. All the way to the bottom. Now it doesn't matter if your lines are not straight, because if you look at Miss Jennifer's, they're not straight, but that's okay. In art, that's the fun part. We can always make it the way that we want. All right, so there we just made our border. Now, we're going to work on our border first before we draw our nurse on the inside of our paper. And we're going to be using some lines that you have been talking about or learning about in art. And so one, we have this line. Does anybody remember what this line is called? Yep, you guessed it. It is a wavy line. Now, what about this line? This is a curved line. Good job. This one is a straight line. Very good. And what happens if we have the straight line, but we leave spaces in between? So if we go like space, like a dash, space, all the way across, this is a dash line. Now these are the lines that we're going to be using today when we make the border of our picture. We're going to start with the four corners. What shape do I have in this corner? If you said a square, good job. Now we're going to be using our curved line for this. So watch me, okay? So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to use my curved line. So just like this. So I'm going to draw 1 and 2, 3, and 4. Notice how they're facing the inside of the paper. Kind of like if we were making a rainbow. So let's do that now. Let's go ahead and let's make our curve, 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 curve line. I made 4 lines on mine. If you want to make 3, that's okay. So let's do that now. Now we're going to do the same thing to the other side, but we're going to do it the opposite way. So notice that our lines face this way. This time our lines are going to face that way. So there we go. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4. Good job. We're going to go down to the bottom and we're going to do it in the same direction that we did here. So that means that we're going to do what? Curve, 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 and curve. And one more time here. Same direction. Curve, 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 curve. Now if you don't have them in the same directions as Miss Jennifer, that is okay. Alright, so now I want to do the long rectangles now. And I'm going to use my wavy line. Now watch this. I'm going to start at the top. And I want to make sure that I'm touching the line, touching the outside of my paper, touching the line, touching the outside of my paper, and down to the corner. Just like that. Starting at the top, down and around to the end. Right. I want to do the same thing on this side. Start at the dot, around and edge of your paper, back to your line, edge of your paper, back to your line. Good job. And so that was our wavy line. Awesome. Now if you want to use your dash line, you could put some dashes maybe in between, just like this. Very good. Now for my top and my bottom, I want to use a different line. I think I'm going to use my zigzag line. Remember that's up, down, up, down, up, down. Starting on the corner, up to the top, down to the line, up to the corner, down to the line, all the way across. Very good. And I'm going to do the same thing to the bottom. Zigzag, zigzag, zigzag. Now I have my border, and we made our border have nice little designs or lines. Good job. I'm going to give you just a little bit of time to work on your border. And so what we're going to be doing to our border is we're going to be using different colors to color our border. Once we start coloring our picture, we're going to kind of pay attention to making each little part of the border a different color. So I am ready to start drawing my picture of my nurse now. So let's get our marker, either black or brown, and let's draw our nurse now. We're going to start with our nurse's head, and our nurse's head is going to be near the top. Right, so maybe you might want to draw a lady nurse, or maybe you might want to draw a man. It's really up to you. I'm going to draw a lady, but I'll show you how to draw a man nurse as we go along our drawing. So we're going to start at the top with the head, and for our nurse's head, we're going to start by making a long curved line, just like this, right at the top of our paper. So let's do that now. That is the bottom of her chin. All right, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to make a smaller curved line we're going to leave about this much space up on the top. So we have 2 curved lines. Now nurses used to wear hats on their heads. They don't do it as much as they used to, but nurses are usually known for the little hats that are on their head. So we're going to draw that next. All right, what we're going to do is we are going to draw 1, 2 straight lines. And those are sort of like our diagonal lines going in opposite directions, right on the top, just like this. Then we're going to make another curved line, and we're going to connect those 2 lines together. That is the nurse's hat. Good job. Now, on a nurse's hat, there is something that looks like this. Now, it kind of looks like a cross, but really it's kind of a symbol that kind of tells us that it's like a nurse or someone in the medical field. And so this is what we're going to do. So watch Miss Jennifer. We're going to make a straight line here and a straight line there. One kind of on the top and one on the bottom. Then we're going to do the same thing on the sides. One here and one here. So top, bottom, one left side and right side. Very good. So we kind of have it like this. Top, bottom, side, side. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go in and up. Right? So here we go. So we're going to go in and up, connecting those 2 pieces together. All right, got that? Then the next one we're going to go down and out. So we're going to go down, kind of like we're making the top of a little square, and then we're going to go out. So basically, we're making lines that go like this. Good job. Now we're going to do the same thing, but this time we're going to do them sort of upside down. So next we're going to be making our line go this way and this way. Right? So here we go, in and down, in and down. Right, and that's a symbol for our nurse. Good job, boys and girls. All right, so here we go. So we want to make the hair for our nurse, and we also need to decide if we're going to make a lady or a man. So if we're making a lady, here's the bottom of the hat. You could maybe make her some braids and some hair going across the top, like her bangs. But if you wanted to draw a man nurse, you would have the top of the hat, or actually, this is actually the bottom of the hat. You would have that curve, but maybe you would make some short hair, and then you would make your hair just like this. And then that hat would be right on the top, just like this. So it's up to you if you want to make long hair or short hair. I think that I kind of want to make probably longer hair. So I'm going to sort of make the hair, and I'm connecting it together. That's the bank. So we're going to draw that part first. So make your wavy line and then connect it together. Now for the hair, we're going to come off to the side just like this. And my nurse is going to have longer hair, just like that. If you want shorter hair, then go ahead and make your shorter hair. Good job. Now I want to make my nurse's eyes, and we're going to make those really simple today. We're just going to put 2 dots, one on the side of the other. All right. We're going to make a little nose, and so for our nose, we can make a little curved line, just like this. So let's do that now. Now I want my nurse to be super happy, but maybe you want your nurse to have maybe just regular smile. So maybe it's a little smile, maybe it's a big smile. I want my nurse to have a big smile. And you know what? I'm going to put a curve here and a curve here. So here we go. So curve here, And that's kind of the end of her smile. All right. The next thing that we want to do is we want to put our line going this way and this way. This is the neck for your nurse. Awesome, boys and girls. Looking good. All right. Then we're going to make a curve connecting it together because that is the bottom of her neck. Then we're going to make a curved line going this way. And we're going to make a curved line going this way. And I'm going to connect that together. Sort of making the shoulders now. Right? And then I'm going to make a dress. So here I go. Look, I'm going across, up, around, and down. Just like this for a dress. But you might want to make pants. So that might be the bottom of the shirt, and if you're making a boy nurse, then you would want to make little pants. A long time ago, women nurses, wore dresses a lot. And here I'm going to put her little collar, I'm going to put a straight line, and I'm going to put her some little buttons. If you don't want to do that, that's okay. All right, now here, I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 fingers for her hand. And I'm going to do the same thing here. Thumb, 1, 2, 3, 5. There's the hands. So let's draw hands. Your pictures are looking really nice, boys and girls. Now the next thing we're going to do is draw the legs. So here are her legs. But remember, if you're making a boy nurse, you're going to need to make pants. I'm going to make a curve here and a straight line, a curve here and a straight line. And those are going to be shoes. Good job. And if you want, you can draw a line where your nurse is standing up. And so now we have a picture of our nurse. If you want to draw something hanging from their hand, like maybe a stethoscope or a little, maybe like medical bag, you could do that. So there's your nurse. All right, now the next thing that I'm going to do is talk about coloring your nurse. I want you to look at your hand, and that is called your skin tone. So I want you to pick up your crayon, maybe like a peach or maybe a brown, and put it next to your hand. I want you to pick the color that's the closest to your skin tone. And so mine would be the peach color. I'm going to color her hands. I'm going to color her legs. And I'm also going to color her face and her neck. Just like this. Very good. So face, neck, hands, and legs. All right. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to color the border of my picture. So here I'm going to put some blue. And the inside, I think I'm going to put some green. It's kind of a yellowish green. Now, the thing that I want you to do when you're doing your border or coloring your border today is to pay attention that you put one color on one side, one color on the other side. So one color on one side. Then you'll pick another color for the other side because we are making sure that we have different kinds of colors on our border. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let you finish coloring your picture today because we are running out of time to color. So, go ahead. Make your colors on your border different colors. So today, we learned about community leaders, also known as community helpers. We learned about the job that a nurse does in helping people feel better. We drew a picture of a nurse, and we also added a border around our picture where we focused on different kinds of lines and color patterns. If you have some extra time, you might want to go ahead and maybe add a couple other lines to the border that you made today and maybe add some other colors. I enjoyed working with you today, and I hope that you will take some time to share your picture with your family and friends. Until next time, keep making art.